Welcome to Superstitions and Traditions. I'm Kristen.
I'm Clarissa.
You are?
Can you tell me who are you? You are Ellie. Look at you. Do you say hi?
You say hi?
Wait. Oh. Okay.
Okay. All right. So welcome to our podcast about history's shenanigans. And today we are doing product review. And Ellie has told me I could tell her a story about asbestos. We're not so sure we're giving it a good star rating, but we'll need your guys' help deciding at the end of our show. So leave us a comment on YouTube or Spotify after you hear what all we have to say about it. Ellie, what do you want to say about it?
So far, what do you think? Do you think you're going to need some asbestos in your house? Probably not, huh?
You don't think so? Okay. So, asbestos is a mineral. It is known for... Is my story boring?
Come here.
Okay. Well, I hope the rest of y'all don't think so. Asbestos, it's a mineral. It's a rock. It's a fibrous rock that flakes easy. And it has been used throughout history because it is fire resistant. So they used it for like mummification processes. In ancient times, they used it to make fabric that made, especially wealthy people, that made money bags to keep their money safe because everything could burn and it will not.
Right.
It kind of lost its appeal and was rediscovered in the Victorian era by Sir William Logan, and he brought it to London, had it on display. Everybody was in awe of this magic stone that could flake into thin fibers and be used to make all sorts of stuff fire resistant, which at the time was kind of needed because they were burning things down all the time. And then they had electricity. The invention of electricity, and it was just raw, bare wire running everywhere and was kind of dangerous, burning things down. However, they could wrap the wire in asbestos and keep things safe from fire. So, yay.
Yay. That's good. That's awesome.
This is, big and wonderful. Great news. In the ancient times, Pliny the Elder had noticed that the men that were mining the asbestos minerals were dying young, but there was not really a reason. It was just an observation.
Right.
Like they weren't doing autopsies or anything like that. So we've known since ancient times not to play with this stuff because Pliny the Elder told us, and he knew everything. He's one of my favorite people in history.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. However, we had forgotten this in the 1800s. And we were using it to make everything. They would use it in crematoriums to make blankets to wrap a body in. So it would burn the body, but keep the ashes separate from the whatever was used to make the fire.
Okay.
They used it for oven mitts. They used it for clothes. They wrapped electrical wire in it. They insulated houses with it. Like it was everywhere and everything for a long time. By the start of the 1900s, we know it's dangerous. They believed there was an asbestos poisoning, but they weren't real sure how that happened. But they did notice, like an asbestos poisoning type thing is what they considered it. It wasn't until 1924 that a woman who had worked in an asbestos factory died young. We're not supposed to laugh about that.
Yeah, that's funny.
And an autopsy was done. When they opened her up, her lungs were full of dust and fibers of asbestos.
Oh, that's rough.
And it had caused a lot of scar tissue where it had scraped, and so now we know in 1924 we discovered this. We know for a fact that it is killing people, and yet we still use it. Continued using it for a little while.
Ooh.
It wasn't until the 60s or 70s when they were like, maybe we shouldn't play with this stuff. And so anything that was contained, like using it as insulation in your house, it's inside the wall, it's not, the fibers aren't getting out. However, when we tear those buildings down, it releases the fibers. So asbestos, we're not using it anymore, but it is going to cause problems for us for a very, very long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a cancer linked to asbestos. A lot of buildings, like our mom's, they're one of the buildings, they had like their programs and things, their proms and stuff in it. They like used asbestos all through that place.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, and that, I mean, it's fairly recently still, but so it was tore down when we realized that we were killing people with asbestos.
Yeah, that's right.
It was fire resistant. So yay.
Yay!
It worked really well around those wires we're shooting electricity through. The fires didn't happen because of it.
Woo! You're not catching on fire, but you're getting cancer.
I mean, you're going to get cancer. And have horrible breathing problems for the rest of your life and die young.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, what, a 3-star rating?
Yeah.
Do we give credit?
Congrats on figuring something out for a minute.
Right. It's been a big trying to get rid of it safely.
Yeah.
And it's going to take years and years and years, and people are going to feel the effects of asbestos for a very long time. So, I don't know, maybe not a 3, maybe more like a 2.5.
I like the 2.5. that sounds
2.5 stars. You won't catch on fire.
Yeah.
Yay. Luckily, we have found other things that are fire resistant we can replace asbestos with, but for a long time, like, people were just using it. They were making clothes out of it. It's a really pretty rock. Just don't breathe next to it.
Yeah. I'm sure wearing a mask will be fine for it.
I'm sure. Mesothelioma is a cancer that is related to asbestos. But even if you don't develop cancer from it, you will have respiratory issues. Because it is a sharp, tiny little fiber that dices your lungs up when you breathe it. And causes lots of scar tissue, which makes it harder to pull in air. So, okay, maybe 2 star. 2 stars.
Wait, the more that you get, it's just slowly going down.
Slowly going down. So, anyway, that is what I know about asbestos. Maybe no stars. I'm not real sure. It served its purpose. It was a bad idea. When we found out it was a bad idea, we tried to pretend like it wasn't a bad idea. And thank goodness places like OSHA and workers' rights exist.
Absolutely.
Because we did that quite a bit with things that were unhealthy. Once we found out they were unhealthy, we hid that fact from the people working with it. So even children who weren't around it, like if their parents worked in a factory that used asbestos, would have suffered effects from it because it would latch onto the parents' clothes, and so they would come home, hug their kids when they got off work, and the kids would breathe it. It was bad.
Man, that is so scary.
I know. And 50 years from now, who knows what
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a
stuff
list.
we use every day is gonna be toxic, but Pliny told us in the 1st century, and we chose to ignore him and use it again. So it's kind of our own fault. But,
Yeah, for sure.
but still, probably 0 stars. 0 stars. Don't play with asbestos.
Yeah.
And don't try to remove asbestos yourself if you know of something that is infested with asbestos. And don't go to Graham Ballroom. What was it?
And Trish.
Graham Memorial Auditorium. Because, it doesn't exist, so you can't. But even if it did, don't go. It's not a good idea. So, all right. How many stars for you?
I'd say 0.
Oh,
But
0?
it served a purpose, so maybe 1.
Maybe 1? Okay. All right. So that's our thinking. Maybe 0, maybe 1, 2.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You got to give it credit for what it did, but for real, don't use it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So thank you for watching. That is a brief history on asbestos. And come back and see us